In the pantheon of legends, there is a distinct frequency, a vibration that separates the temporary from the eternal. It is 1973. Under inside the Golden Harvest Studios in Hong Kong is heavy, sick with the scent of stale tobacco, dry sweat, and the electric of hot tungsten lights. Thus motes dance in the shafts of artificial sunlight cutting through the darkness of the sonstage, swirling like galaxies in a void. Here, time does not move linearly. It compresses into moments of violence and expands into lifetimes of regret. The within the cavern is designed to mimic an underground prison. A young man stands in the shadows. His name is Chan Konsang, but the world will one day know him as Jackie. Right now, he is nobody. He is a stuntman, a silhouette in the background, earning $5 a day to be thrown against walls. But inside his chest, a drum beats a rhythm of defiance. He is 19 years old. His muscles coiled like steel springs beneath a layer of useful elegance. He watches the center of the room, his eyes narrowing, dissecting the man who commands the silence. That man is the dragon, Bruce Lee. Bruce stands center stage, shirtless, his torso a topography of pure functional power. His latissimus dorsi flare like the wings of a cobra, casting long, sharp shadows across the concrete floor. A door is not used to stand. He occupies space with a gravitational pull. He is the sun around which the rest of them, 50 hardened stuntmen, orbit in a mixture of fear and reverence. But Jackie does not feel fear today. He feels the itch of ambition. He grips a wooden staff, the grind up against his callous palms, his nucleus guite. He looks at Bruce and sings, Asterisco, I am faster. I am younger. He is in Nema. I am the street Asterisco. The director's voice cuts through the humidity like a whip crack. Quiet on set. The silence that follows is deafening. It is a physical weight. You can hear the crack of leather shoes, the rustle of loose fabric, the shallow, rhythmic breathing of men preparing for war. Bruce closes his eyes for a fraction of a second. In that darkness, he finds water. He finds a void. When he opens them, the brownie dishes are gone, replaced by a focused, predatory intensity that feels like a drop in temperature. Action! The world explodes. It is a symphony of controlled chaos. Bodies fly through the air, driven by the kinetic force of the dragon's limbs. But this is not a dance. It is a sermon delivered in violence. Jackie waits for his cue. He is to attack from the blind side, a sacrificial lamb for the camera. But Jackie has a different plan. He wants to Cine. It tightens his core, the adrenaline sour and metallic in his mouth, his vision tunneling until only Bruce exists. Jackie longs. He moves with the desperate speed of a man trying to outrun his own anonymity. His feet slap against the dusty floor, a staccato rhythm of aggression. He raises his weapon, his face twisted in a snarl that is Alfredine, Alfred challenge. He wants Bruce to feel him. He wants the start to flinch. But Bruce does not flinch. He flows. Tim seems to warp. Bruce pivots on the ball of his foot, and movements of fluid logs like a suspended by invisible wires. The sweat flying from his hair catches the backlight, hanging in there like suspended diamonds. He swings above staff of his own, a heavy rod of palace attack. It slices through the humid with a low, terrifying boom, a sound that vibrates in the teeth of everyone watching. This is the moment of intersection. The clash of the Titan and the aspirant. Jackie sees the blow coming, but his ego has blinded his reflexes. He sinks a conduct, weave, counter. He commits to a forward motion. His center of gravity is shifting, his breath tightening his lungs. The math of the fight changes in a microsecond. Bruce's velocity is not human. It is a mathematical inevitability. The tech staff is supposed to stop inches from the temple. That is the choreography. That is the safety. But Jackie's ambition has pushed 2 inches too far forward. Asterisco crack. The sound is sickeningly organic. Good meeting bone. It is not the hollow tooth of a movie punch. It is a sharp, resonant geometric leaching of hard matter. The impact sends a shockwave through Jackie's skull, a flash of white light that obliterates his vision. His knees unlock instantly. The strength evaporates from his legs as if the power cord to his body has been severed. He feels the cold concrete ruse up to make his cheek before he even realizes he is falling. Silence instantly strangles the set. The camera veers on, an indifferent mechanical observer, capturing the fall. Jackie lies on the floor, the world spinning in a nauseating vortex of grass and blocks. The pain is a blooming red flower in his right eye, throbbing in time with his erratic heartbeat. What worse than the pain is the shame, the warning, as it was of humiliation. He tried to be the hero, and has been reduced to a heap of trembling limbs. He expects a shout. He expects to be fired. He expects the laughter of the crew, the dismissal of the king. He hears footsteps, not the heavy, angry stamping of a frustrated star, but the soft, rapid patter of bare feet. Through the husk of his concussion, Jackie sees a hand reaching down. It is not a fist. The fingers are alone, calloused, but open, dilating the bubbles of the figure standing over him, turning the silhouette into a deity. Bruce Lee has dropped the staff. The mask of the dragon has vanished, replaced by a look of sheer, unadulterated humanity. The fierce predator is gone. The concerned brother remains. Kid, my God, kid, are you okay? The voice is not booming. It is breathless, last with genuine panic. Bruce falls to his knees, ignoring the dirt, ignoring the hierarchy that separates a $1 million star from the $5 extra. He cradles Jackie's head, his hands gentle, checking the swelling temple. Jackie tries to speak, but his tongue feels too large for his mouth. I'm okay, he mumbles, the words slurring. He tries to push himself up, his ego screaming at him to stand, to prove he isn't broken. He wants to show his stuff. Don't move it, Bruce commands, but soft. Just breathe. Bruce looks into Jackie's eyes, searching for pupil dilation. His intense focus now directed entirely at the well-being of this nobody. In that proximity, Jackie smells the iron of blood and the distinct, clean scent of Bruce's sweat. He sees the pores on the legend's face, the slight furrow of worry between the brows. This is not the untouchable goal of the posters. This is a man who knows the fragility of the human vessel. I'm sorry, Bruce says, and the words hang in the air, heavy and profound. He lost the flow. He struck too hard. It is a lie. Bruce didn't lost the flow. Jackie broke the rhythm. Everyone knows it. The director knows it. The stunt coordinator knows it. But Bruce takes the weight. He absorbs the error into his own narrative to protect the young man's dignity. This is the first beat of the transformation. The physical blow cracked Jackie's skull, but this act of humility cracks his soul. Bruce helps him stand. The room is still watching, 50 pairs of eyes glued to the interaction. Bruce doesn't let go. He keeps an arm around Jackie's shoulders, stabilizing him, acting as a crutch for the very man who tried to obstage him. You're tough, Bruce says, loud enough for the crew to hear. You talk that like a tongue. Good energy. It turns Jackie's failure into a vase of honor. It rewrites the history of the movement in real time. As they walk up the center of the set, the physical pain in Jackie's head begins to recede, replaced by a profound confusion. He had entered the ring to fight a man, to challenge an ego he assumed was as massive as the fame that surrounded it. Instead, he found water. He struck the surface, and instead of breaking his hand against a rock, the water yielded, embraced him, and saved him from drowning. They sit on a wooden cart near the craft service stable. The chaos of the set resumes behind them, the shouting of the assistant director, the resetting of lights, but in this small corner, there is an island of quiet. Bruce hands Jackie a towel soaked in icy water. Press this, Bruce instructs, mimicking the motion. Jackie obeyes. The cold stings, but it centers him. He looks at Bruce, really looks at him for the first time. He sees the stillness. Bruce isn't vibrating with nervous energy or checking his reflection. He is simply present. He thought he could anticipate you, Jackie admits, his voice quiet, stripped of the bravado of what minutes ago. He wanted to show you my speed. Bruce smiles, a slight upturn of the lips that reaches his eyes. He picks up a bottle of water, unscrews the cap, and pours a little onto the concrete floor. The water splashes, spreads, and finds the cracks in the cement, disappearing into the airs. You were fast, Bruce says, but you were rigid. You were a stone rolling down a hill. Fast, yes, but a stone breaks when it hits a wall. He gestures to the wet patch on the floor. Water flows around the wall, or it becomes a wall. Jackie stares at the dark spot on the concrete. He understands the mechanics of fighting, punches, kicks, blocks. and knows how to seize a hit. What a real house is now that and knows nothing of the spirit of combat. He has been fighting with anger, with a desperate need to be seen. He has been a stone, crashing into everything, hoping the world would break before it did. Why didn't you fear me? Jackie asks. He ruined the take. Bruce leans back, resting his elbows on his knees. The light from the set catch the definition of his deltoids, casting the valleys of shadow. Because you have a fear, Bruce says. He felt it before you moved. What fear consumes itself if you don't control it? You want to be the best? You want the camera to love you. Jackie nods, a slow, painful movement. Then stop trying to be me, Bruce says, his voice dropping to a whisper, intimate and piercing. There is already a Bruce Lee. The world don't need a copy. It needs you. But you don't know who you are yet because you're too busy looking at me. The words strike harder than the teak stuff. Jackie feels a sudden emptiness in his stomach, the hollowness of Ariela's truth. He has spent his short career mimicking the intensity, the screams, the glorious violence of the dragon. A thought that was a pass. How do I find it? Jackie asks. The question is small, the plea of a child asking for direction in the dark. Bruce stands up. The break is over. The energy of the set is calling him back. It transforms again. The muscles tightening, the posture shifting from mentor back to warrior. But before he leaves, he places a hand on Jackie's shoulder again. The grip is firm, grounding. Empty your cup, Bruce says. Only on the need to win. Learn the need to express. Pain is a teacher, my friend. Today, the stick told you that you are immortal. Good. Now say that. Don't hide the pain. Show it. Make the audience feel it. That is your truth. Bruce turns and walks back into the light. The dust swirls around him, swallowing him into the meat. Jackie remains on the crack, the ice melting against his throbbing temple, water dripping down his neck, mixing with the sweat and the fake blood. He watches Bruce glide back into the center of the chaos. He sees the way Bruce commands the space not by demanding attention, but by being completely at peace within the violence. Something shifts inside the Jackie. A gear that has been stuck for years suddenly clicks into place. Asterisco don't hide the pain. He thinks about his style. He thinks about the seriousness of Kung Fu cinema, the grim faces, the invincibility of the heroes. He looks at his own trembling hands. He is not invincible. He is hit. He is clumsy. He is human. What if? What if he stopped trying to be the god of war? What if he became the man who feels the pain? The man who falls, who hurts, who struggles, but who gets up anyway? The seed is planted. The ego, that hard, brittle cell that wanted to be the toughest man in the room, begins to crack and fall away. In its place, a new philosophy begins to sprout. A philosophy of vulnerability. A philosophy of resilience. Days turn into weeks on the set. Jackie watches Bruce relentlessly. He stops trying to catch the dragon's eye. Instead, he studies the dragon's mind. And notices how Bruce treats the lowest crew members with the same respect as the producers. He sees that true superiority is not about being above others, but about being so secure in oneself that no one else is a threat. The lesson burns slow and deep. It is not an overnight change. It is a forging process. Years pass. The world changes. The dragon ascends to the heavens, leaving a void that can never be filled. The industry panics. Every studio in Hong Kong scrambles to find a new Bruce Lee. They grab actors, dress them in yo home suites, force them to scream, to scowl, to imitate the inimitable. And they try to do it to Jackie. They put him in the wigs. They give him the scripts filled with revenge and stoicism. They tell him to be the stone. And the falls. He falls miserably. The movies flop. The critics laugh. He is a poor copy, a blurred xerox of a masterpiece. Depression naps at him. He sits in a small apartment in Kowloon, staring at a poster of Bruce. He remembers the head. He remembers the teak stuff. He remembers the ice water and the voice sign. The world don't need a copy. He stands up. He walks to the mirror. He makes a fierce face, the Bruce Lee face. It looks ridiculous. Then he shakes his head. He slaps his own cheek. He makes a face of exaggerated pain. He rubs his head, wincing, shaking his hand as if he hit a bone. He looks in the mirror and starts to laugh. It is a genuine laugh. a laugh of liberation. It realizes it cannot be the water that crashes like a tsunami. It must be the water that dances in the rock, the water that sleeps on a banana peel, the water that is resilient not because it is hard, but because it can endure the fall. It begins to chutter up a new language. Where Bruce was efficiency, Jackie becomes chaos. Where Bruce was silence, Jackie becomes sound. Where Bruce was a predator, Jackie becomes a prey who refuses to die. It incorporates the environment. It uses ladders, chairs, tablets. It turns the world into his weapon because it is not enough on his own. It embraces the struggle. It lets the camera see him bleed. It lets the audience see him scared. And the world falls in love, not with a god, but with a man. Decades roll by like film on a reel. It is the present day. Jackie is old now. His body is a map of scars, broken ankles, cracked skull, shattered nose, dislocated shoulders. Each scar is a memory. Each break is a lesson. He sits in a egress hotel room, looking out over the skyline of a city that has grown used as he has. He is an icon. He is a legend in his own right. But he is not the dragon. He never tried to be again. He picks up a cup of tea. The steam rises, curling in the air. He watches the vapor dissipate, becoming one with the atmosphere. He remembers the act of 1973. He remembers the hand reaching down to pull him out of the dirt. He realizes that the greatest fight of his life was never against a villain in a movie. It was against a version of himself that thought had to be perfect to be worthy. Bruce didn't use break his head that day. He broke the illusion. Jackie takes a sip of tea. He smiles. It is the smile of a man who found his own way up the mountain. A path that was winding, rocky, and full of stumbles, but it was his. The legacy of that 3-second beat, the strike, the fall, the apology, echoes through cinema history. Because Bruce Lee was secure enough to be king, Jackie Chan became brave enough to be himself. The master didn't create a disciple, he liberated a master. And in the silence of the room, Jackie whispers a thank you to the ghost of the dragon. The steam from the tea vanishes, but the memory does not. The timeline fractures again. Pulling Wes away from the peace of the hotel room, dragging Wes back into the visceral grit of the 40 where the legend was truly hammered into shape. It is 1986. Yugoslavia. The set of armor of God. If the encounter with Bruce Lee was a spark, this moment is defeated. Jackie is no longer the extra in the background. He is the star, the director, the stunt coordinator. He is the man in charge. The ego is taught at very descript vacuum, disguised as perfectionism. He is unsatisfied with the take. He wants to jump from a castle wall to a tree branch. It is a simple jump for a man who has leaped off clock towers and slid down glass skyscrapers. But the air is different here. It is in, cold, indifferent. One more time, Jackie shouts. The crew is tired. The light is fading, casting none. Skeletal shadows across the ruins. He can feel the ghost of the dragon watching him. He wants to be perfect. He wants the flow. He leaps. For a heartbeat, he is flying. His body is a projectile of will. But nature does not care about the scripts. The branch grabs his ray, right from the inside. It does not bend. It snaps. Asterisco crack. The sound echoes the tech stuff from 17 years ago. But this time, there is no control force. There is only gravity. Jackie falls. He plummets 5 meters, his body twisting in a desperate attempt to correct, to find the water, to flow. But there is no water. There is only rock. It hits the ground half fierce. The impact is absolute. It is the sound of a melon dropped on pavement. Silence does not useful over the set. It suffocates it. Blood begins to pour from his ear. A dark, terrifying river against a grey stone. The crew freezes. The panic is not immediate. It is allowed by the sheer impossibility of what they are seeing. The hero don't die. The hero always gets up. But Jackie does not get up. In the darkness of his own skull, floating in the void between life and death, the memory returns. It is not a memory of fame or applause. It is a memory of a hand reaching down. The brown eyes of Bruce Lee, filled with concern, not judgment. Asterisco pain is a teacher. He is rushed to surgery. A piece of his skull has pierced his brain. The doctors work for 8 hours, drilling, cutting, stitching. Outside, the world holds its breath. The new Bruce Lee is saying. But inside the recovery room, days later, something miraculous happens. Jackie wakes up. The pain is blinding, a constant screaming with a noise. He touches a bandage on his head. He feels the crater where the bone was said to be. He realizes, with a clarity that only brushes with the can provide, that he is not invincible. He is fragile. He is made of meat and bone and blood. And he realizes that this fragility is his greatest gift. Bruce Lee was a superhero. He was the ideal. He was who we wanted to be. Jackie Chan realizes he must be who we are. He returns to Hong Kong, but he is different. The last vestiges of the cool hero are gone. He stops trying to hide the attacks. In fact, he puts them at the end of the film. He shows the broken ankles, the missed jumps, the stretchers, the blood. He pulls back the curtain of cinema and says to the audience, Asterisco, look, this hurts. I am doing this for you, Asterisco. A democratizes heroism. It teaches the world that bravery isn't about not getting hit. It's about how much you can endure. The camera pans across a montage of decades. We see the shift in his eyes. In the años 70, his eyes were hungry, searching for approval. In the años 80, they were manic, desperate to prove his word. In the años 90, they soften. They become the eyes of a man who knows the yoke is on him, and is happy to share it. We see fighting in a warehouse. He punches a steel beam by mistake. Bruce would have broken the beam. Jackie breaks his hand. He screams, shakes it, blows on it, hops around on one foot. The audience laughs. But in that laugh, there is a perfection. They see themselves in his pain. He connects not through go, but through empathy. He remembers Bruce's water. Asterisco water flows around the world. Jackie realizes a became the water, but not the tsunami. A became the river that erodes a stone over 1,000 years. It didn't break the wall with force, it outlasted it with persistence. Back in the hotel room, the present day, the elderly Jackie stands up and walks to the window. The city lights of Hong Kong blur into a galaxy of neon. It touches the dependentation in his skull, a permanent reminder of the day almost died trying to be perfect. It sings about Bruce. It wonders what the dragon would have done if he lived to be 70. Would they have softened? Would they have learned to laugh at his own meat? Jackie realizes that they are two halves of the same circle, yin and yang. Bruce was the inale, the sharp, sudden intake of breath that signified power and tension. Jackie is the exhale, the long, sustained release that signified endurance and relief. Without the inale, you cannot live. Without the exhale, you cannot sustain. It turns away from the window. On the table, there is a script for a new movie. He is tired. His joints are check with the weather. Every step is a negotiation with gravity. Vare picks up the script. He smiles. He remembers the lesson. Asterisco emptied your cup. He has emptied it of ego. He has emptied it of the need to be the best. He has filled it instead with gratitude. He realizes that the man who knocked him down that day didn't use give him a concussion. He gave him a compass. Bruce saw it in the summit of the mountain, but left Jackie to find his own path through the valley. Jackie switches off the lamp. The room plunges into darkness, save for the ambient glow of the city. He is not afraid of the dark anymore. He knows that in the dark, you don't need to pose. You just need to breathe. He whispers into the silence, a message across time to the man who started it all. You taught me how to strike, Jackie whispers. But life taught me how to take the heat. The screen falls to black, leaving only the sound of a steady, rhythmic heartbeat. It is not the fast, adrenaline-fueled art of a fighter. It is the slow, powerful drama of a survivor. Asterisco philosophical takewa asterisco. The master teaches us that the strongest tree is not the one that stands rigid against the storm, but the bamboo that bows to the wind and rises again when the sky clears. Perfection is a statue. Resilience is a living thing.